Hello and welcome to another special episode of Profession Session. I'm your host, Brody Vinson, and today we've got another fantasy football style draft. So we'll be going in a snake route starting with Devin.
He leads the most profitable companies on the planet.
Then going Andy.
That is an extremely reckless team.
And then myself. I have one major beef with Devin's team. This team that we're going to be drafting is going to be comprised of 4 key players: a CEO, a hustler, a technician, and a visionary. And their special assignment is to redesign the education system completely and make it a profitable business. Few rules to go over real quick. The criteria for who will win is going to be based on the entire team, and it'll be based on the team's network overall, their experience in education pre this assignment, and then their innovation/technology understanding. They have to have been alive post 2000 to be widely known, and they have to have founded a company. So without further ado,
I am literally making my decision as we speak right now.
I'm panicking over here. You took.
Oh, I love it.
Yes.
Damn. Thanks so much for tuning into this episode of Profession Session. I'm Brody Vinson, and I'm on a mission not only to define professional greatness through the tactics and qualities behind it, but also to help anyone that's trying to achieve professional greatness do it through the lens of others that have achieved it before them. I couldn't be more thankful for everyone that helps me continue along this mission through being able to do this podcast. And if you've ever gotten any value out of it, I ask only 2 things in return. If you could share it in the same way that you found it with someone else that you think could get value, it helps me so much. And if you could also just hit the subscribe button if you haven't yet, it helps me so much in just securing better and better guests for the show to share more impactful knowledge with you in this pursuit that we're both on for professional greatness. So without further ado, let's get on to this week's episode. Devin, kick us off with your CEO pick and we'll get it started.
I think I got the birthday luck on my side today, and I'm starting off with the big pick, Elon Musk, for sure, for my CEO. Not only is he obviously one of the richest men on the planet, a massive founder, but he also started the at-home school Ad Astra. Y'all have heard about that before. His Ad Astra thing is essentially sends his kids and a subsect of kids around them to a school where he sets up stations all around his building or his home, depending on where he's doing it, and they have different things that they can be attracted to. So some things promote engineering, some things promote writing, some things promote arts. And these kids walk around and get to decide what time they spend their day with. So this makes specialized kids instead of kids that are more general based. I think that's a vision that I like seeing in my school, is somewhere people can specialize on things that they may know earlier in life that they're good at, or at least have the opportunity to. And I think he sees a future where we could do that. So
I love that.
All right, so mine.
Power player started off.
I know.
Yeah.
Mine is a power player, but he's a wild card, and y'all two did not think of him whatsoever. I honestly don't know how much y'all two know of him, but and it's crazy, this is the 2nd overall pick that I'm taking. It's going to be Patrick Bet-David.
Oh.
It's going to be Patrick Bet-David.
Valuetainment.
Valuetainment.
Yeah,
Have you seen his stuff?
I've only seen the Valuetainment.
That's a good call.
So if you look at what he's been doing since, he sold it. So first of all, I think he's a billionaire at this point. In the last,
wouldn't be surprised.
He sold the insurance company that he basically started. I think it was. I don't think the number's actually out there, but it is a enormous amount. Now he's a co-owner of that he owns part of the Yankees. He's completely, just opening the whole news market. He offered Tucker Carlson $100 million contract.
That's right.
On everything. I mean, he is becoming a huge power player, but now he's really, really taking on the education system. In a lot of his videos, he is talking about like the ESG score. He is talking about what to do with the schooling system. He is really, really challenging what's going on in our school system right now. And he has kids of his own, and so he has a big hand in everything that's going on. So that's my second. That's second overall pick.
There you go.
That's who's leading the charge.
I've got an interesting first pick that might surprise you guys.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to pick Mark Zuckerberg.
Oh,
Okay.
Yeah.
Interesting.
I'll explain why. Aside from the recent incredible success of Threads, which is a lot of fun. It's blowing up. The active users, it's just crazy, like overnight success. I'm having fun with it. I was never a Twitter guy, but for some reason I just like Threads.
Same here.
But the big reason I picked Zuck is because of the data that he has to make decisions. Yeah. Think about it. This man has more data on the people that the education system would need to be designed around than anyone possibly could ever have. So he'll be the one that's able to take that data and, like Devin, like you were talking about, make it specialized in a way that really suits people and kind of design it around what the data is actually telling us. And he's got a long track record of making things profitable. He knows what kinds of companies to acquire that are doing the right things to add to this machine that he's building. I think he would be able to take the charge pretty well, honestly.
He's in the business of keeping people paying attention, which is what school is about. So I definitely see that.
It's part of what the education system needs.
That is very true.
And that leaves me with another pick, actually. So next we're going to move to the hustler pick. For my hustler pick, and I forgot to mention, we actually tried doing this one other time, but we unfortunately lost the recording. So if we don't do a good job of it this time, we just suck at this.
We just suck over.
But I'm actually going to pick someone that I drafted last time for a different position. I'm going to pick Mark Cuban for my hustler.
Okay.
I think he is he's on Shark Tank. He's an absolute negotiating shark. I think he's going to be the guy that can go out there and just grab deals left and right. He knows how to negotiate them the right way. He knows how to get the terms he needs. And he's also a friendly guy, hospitable guy. I think people are going to like him. They're not going to be turned off by those kind of shark-like tactics. That's important in that case. I think it is important. I think he's also going to establish a really good baseline of, like, because of that friendliness, I think he'll help the team get along as a whole. And then talking about his network, one of the criteria pieces, this guy has an incredible network. I mean, he owns a basketball team. He's a shark. He's got an incredible reach. He's a billionaire. I think he's going to be a power player on this team as well for the hustler.
I like it. Okay, I'm the next one. I am literally making my decision as we speak right now. So that is why I have drawn out that last sentence, because I still did not really know which person that I'm going to pick. And I think the only reason I'm picking this person over the other person, not bring up the other person, I may draft them later in the round. But
little sleeper pick.
The person that I'm going to draft as my hustler is going to be Jocko Willink.
Ooh.
Okay.
So I
love Jocko.
This guy, military background, very, very disciplined. He has that hardness about him to where he is going to push everybody, but he's also going to lead the right way. People are going to be inspired by him. He is going to hold them accountable, but they're also not going to disregard him as someone that's just kind of talking the talk. Like, when you're talking about an educational system, people don't enjoy it. And if he's if he's put into that chair of kind of the hustler, figuring out how to get people to stay focused, he's the guy for me.
He's got a track record of taking boring, non-sexy subjects and figuring out how to make them appealing and actually interesting people in discipline as a whole. I mean, that's a tough subject.
Yeah, absolutely. Well. And then most people don't know is his overall reach now is ginormous, because he is now going to every company that's a Fortune 500 company is wanting him to come and talk with them about leadership. Mm-hmm. If this guy can lead people in a literal life and death situation, I think he can definitely prove to impact and lead people in that hustle role.
I like it.
Okay, is that my turn?
Mm-hmm. It is.
I think. Okay. So I think I'm going to say for my hustler, I'm going to pick the one and only Gary Vaynerchuk.
I knew it.
Yeah,
I knew it.
Yeah, that's definitely my pick on
near
that
and
one.
dear to the heart.
Yeah, near and dear to the heart. If you don't know Gary's background on education, he had a very hard time in school, like is a similar background to myself. School fails those with ADD and those who don't like to pay attention, and I think he has experienced that. I think it's one of the main problems that schooling has nowadays is it's not geared toward what it takes to be successful nowadays, and it's not geared toward the massive spectrum of minds that we've been able to discover through better mental health research and things of that nature. And I think a hustler with empathy that knows how to talk to people and who has suffered in the education system is going to be what's important there. You guys pick some very big hustlers, but I think on an empathic level, Gary Vee has them beat.
I love it.
Yeah, great pick.
I love the background too of having struggled so much with the education system, but having had so much success despite that. And I think having that angle and being able to approach it from that angle could really help him systematically figure out the issues that so many people are having with the education system right now and how to correct those.
Absolutely.
He's done it himself. He's
For sure.
a good figure to be part of it.
Okay, so
your next pick is the technician.
Okay, and our technician is just someone who is good, understands kind of the ins and outs of education a little bit, I would assume, and just a good technology and technical mind, right? Okay, in that case, especially when doing this kind of company, and I think this will be a little bit of an odd pick, I'm going to pick Barack Obama. That's going to be my technician pick.
Interesting.
One law school graduate and University of Chicago law professor. So I think
he the founder of a company?
Yeah, of course. It's the Obama Foundation for one.
Okay.
And then I think it's Rescue, Rebuild, Restore, which is his was his message his message on his campaign that I think is now one of his company names. But I'm picking him partially because for two reasons. One, I think I kind of get to cheat in Michelle Obama and her contribution in the school network, and specifically.
Oh, I don't know. We get she's her own.
She
person.
will be around.
She is her own person.
She's
guys.
her own person.
Okay.
That's part of his network, though.
Yeah. So I was about to say, thank you.
That is part of his network.
That's
Yes,
a
that's
massive
true.
piece. Not
Yes,
only
that's
that.
true.
But I think what you're going to run into more than technological issues when you're building up the school system, especially with a CEO like Elon Musk, is you're going to run into legal issues about how you do it, how it's approved, how you work with the politicians on getting this actually a viable product. And I think, if you're trying to work within those spheres and build something that's functional in those spheres, that's the right guy for the job, not only in educational background, but in professional background, and obviously just one of the most likable, talk-toable guys on the planet.
I love it.
So Elon Musk, Gary Vee, Barack Obama for me.
That's a
powerhouse
right there. So I'm stepping up my picks on everything. I think I got my two wild cards out. I'm bringing in the S tiers on everything. So for my technician, I am going to be bringing in Bill Gates.
Ooh.
I mean, deep pockets, deeper network at this point, and he has the technical knowledge on everything.
Shoot.
I mean,
that's
my I mean, I don't need to really necessarily need to go into everything that he does. His name speaks for itself.
He the GOAT.
He's the GOAT. It was between him and Jeff Bezos. I mean, I gotta give it to him, and I think he wins by a pretty good margin on it.
For sure over Jeff Bezos.
I mean, especially, you took Mark Zuckerberg off the table. That was on the table for sure, and I was like, oh shoot, if he's best man on the board for me.
Brody looks excited over there.
Uh-oh.
I'm panicking over here. You took,
That's
you
even
took
better.
You took my pick.
Ooh.
I love it.
Yes.
Damn. For my technician, I am going to take.
He's picking right this moment.
I am picking right this moment.
He doesn't.
I
He's
am.
not made his decision yet.
I am floundering.
They were
here.
unprepared.
But I am going to pick in this third round for the role of technician on my team a person that goes by the name of. I'm going to go Steve Wozniak.
Steve Wozniak. Okay.
He's the lesser known kind of face behind the beginnings of Apple. And I think something that innovative and that different, he's kind of known for having been the technological mind behind it.
Yeah.
Whereas Steve Jobs was more of the visionary. So I think if we want to put a technician in that's going to be able to completely reinvent a wheel and bring something new, what better example of innovation do we have than Apple? I mean, the first company to ever cross $3 trillion and valuation.
Mm-hmm.
I think he thinks big and knows how to implement the systems behind it. I think he could probably run the technology and create the technology that this system needs to be able to be successful.
I love
Absolutely. I like it. I like it a lot.
And then I also have the visionary
You
pick.
have the visionary pick.
For the visionary pick, I can't believe he's still on the board. I'm going to go with Jeff Bezos. I mean, he
just have to take it.
you have
take him on the
to.
board.
You have to. I think he probably easily could have stepped into any of these 4 roles, but the reason I like him for visionary is the humble beginning story, just starting his company in his garage, thinking about redefining how people get books. And what are we talking about here? Education. He came up in books and built a system around distributing books better. And I think the distribution and just the big thinking, the logistics that he would bring, and obviously all the other resources, the network, the deep pockets, all of that, the systems behind Amazon and everything they've done digitally and physically, I think are going to be a massive asset.
All right. So for my visionary, I am very, very happy that I made these first 2 picks because, for one, the Jocko Willink and Patrick Bet-David, they are not the big names on the board, but they are going to keep the rest of my team grounded.
Mm-hmm.
And I am so surprised that you did not pick this person after you picked Steve Wozniak.
Yeah. They've got a proven track record.
They have a proven track record. You just said $1 trillion company. You said visionary.
And my team
and
could have been
Steve
2
Jobs.
Marks, 2 Steves.
My visionary pick, Steve Jobs.
It's a great pick. It's a
I
great pick.
mean,
Our
you want to
teams
talk
are gonna
about a
have beef.
visionary? Yes, you're gonna have a little bit of a clash between, Bill Gates and Steve Jobs, but they had a civil relationship throughout everything. And the fact that I have Jocko on the team and Patrick on the team, kind of playing, leveling the field on everything.
No, those are some really, really big personalities.
Yeah.
Do you think that's going to work out?
I think those first 2 picks levels them out.
I think
Because
Jocko would probably keep everyone in line.
I think Jocko, but if you look at Patrick Bet-David, the way he handles the podcast, he has some very, very controversial figures. He has some very, very difficult people. Go watch the podcast where he had with Antonio Brown on it, to where Antonio Brown went at him really, really hard. For him to be able to handle those type of situations,
Yeah.
I think he's going to be able to handle, because he obviously has an ego, but he also knows how to control a room very, very well. And Jocko also has a very strong silence about him, to where when he's going to talk, it's not going to be often, but people will listen.
I like it.
And I mean, like Bill Gates, he's 5'8", 120 pounds. Steve
He's the
Jobs, I mean, he was probably 5'11", 140 pounds. I got Jocko over there, and then Patrick Bet-David's 6'5". I think they got it. I think they got it.
Okay, is it my turn?
Mm-hmm.
It's your turn.
All right.
Visionary.
All right, I'm going to talk some shit. Both of their teams sound like a dystopian future where Amazon designs the education system for me, or Microsoft designs the education system for me. Your visionary was Bill Gates, and yours was Steve Jobs. Those are as old world as it possibly
No, mine
comes.
was Jeff Bezos.
Jeff Bezos
Yeah.
and Steve Jobs. That's equally as bad. That's equally as bad.
Apple.
So here's what I'm picking
Hey, this
for my
has to be
visionary.
a profitable business.
Here's who
Yeah.
I'm picking for my visionary, all right? I'm picking someone who's actually been through a modern education system. I'm picking Mr. Beast as my visionary. One, professor at Harvard, in case you didn't know. Business
didn't know
professor
that.
at Harvard University. So has been a teacher and an educator already. Speaks to a younger audience and knows how to keep them entertained. Delivering books to people is one thing. Keeping people's eyeballs watching something constantly is a whole different thing. A master, the single best at that. And I mean, okay, I'm talking to you, audience, right now. Do you want Steve Jobs designing your education system, or do you want Mr. Beast designing your education system? You tell me.
No, that's not fair.
in
These are
favor of
parents.
What do you mean that's not fair?
In
These are
favor of
parents that are
Steve
deciding
Jobs,
it.
in favor of Steve Jobs and Steve Wozniak both, Apple has always had a really good commitment to making their technology user-friendly in the sense that it actually does take into account things like your health. So it incorporates, they've always been cutting edge in the feature and like the features of taking into account like digital health, mental health around the use of the technology, and I think that could be very important.
No longer worry whether Apple is taking your information. They taught it to you to begin with, so it doesn't matter. All right. Well, my picks are, again, from the very top, Elon Musk, Gary Vee, Barack Obama, and Mr. Beast.
Fuck.
That's a good team.
I rest my case.
That's a good team, but how are you actually going to make revenue?
I'm the board of education. I'm paid for by the government.
But where's the leader? Where's the lead? Like
Elon Musk as a leader?
We had to make this a profitable business.
So it's a private company.
It is, yes.
So my CEO owns a private company.
Business.
See, here's the thing. Elon Musk, he is a technician first. Leader is like his fifth tier.
He leads the most profitable companies on the planet. If we're talking Steve Jobs, Bill Gates, Jeff Bezos, y'all's top boys.
He was
the
richest
so excited
man
about.
in the world.
Elon Musk crushes them, talks about education reform more often, is the most educated and most intelligent. Not even close. And as far as egos go, which would I say would be where he would clash, the egos of Mark Cuban and Jeff Bezos, or Steve Wozniak, or Steve Jobs, comparatively to that of Gary Vee, or that of Mr. Beast, or that of even Barack Obama, is massive. Elon Musk is my biggest ego by far. So I have people who actually want to help people, genuinely, more than anything.
You definitely have the
humanitarians.
I like
you have the
humanitarians
for sure.
as well.
You have the humanitarians
former
for
president.
Sure.
Yeah, you want to talk about hustle? You want to talk about just absolutely a killer? Barack Obama is a great pick. If we're talking about network, Michelle Obama and that network and her initiative on school is a massive deal. So that's my argument for mine. I'll rest my case and leave it to Andy.
Okay, my argument. All right, let's go ahead and go here. I feel like I have by far the most well-rounded group because I have two. They have egos about them, but they are two of the most successful people in history.
Referencing which two?
Steve Jobs and Bill Gates.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I mean, in the 21st century, they probably are the top two. You could throw Jeff Bezos in there, but if you're talking when we said 2000, I mean, Elon Musk is up there.
I didn't have to say it.
Elon Musk came in 2000. He's too early on his track right now.
He got Tesla in 2008, I think.
Yeah,
is when he bought it.
Richest man on the world is too early on his track. I love that. He's just beginning, guys. He's going to other bigger, more humanitarian things.
He is just beginning. He is just beginning.
I have one major beef with Devin's team that I just thought of.
Okay.
Do we want this education system to be on Mars?
Yes, very much so.
I don't know if I do.
I don't know. I am scared for. Actually, no. I'm gonna keep pushing for my team. I have two of the most successful people, visionary wise and technology wise, on that. I have somebody that can lead mass people from all different areas. For when he built PHP, when Patrick Bet-David built PHP, he completely revolutionized the insurance company because previously it was all a bunch of old white guys. His average insurance agent was a female and was Latino. Completely revolutionized everything. And then I have Jocko. Well, I don't like the face you're making. I don't like the face you're making.
I think that's the face of someone who thinks they won it already.
I think it is
wrong.
I think it is. And then, I mean, finally, all right. My hustle, I get Gary Vee, the hustle person, but where's the discipline? I don't know where the discipline is. Someone like Jocko.
Barack Obama.
No.
Discipline?
No.
Why? That dude was the president of the United States with almost zero personal scandals. presidential scandals, maybe we'll talk about politics another day, but no personal scandals, kept up a good family life, has been an educator. I think one of your strongest pits is Jocko, and you keep talking about him, and he is probably, as far as level-headed, intelligent, good for the role, that is my favorite pick absolutely on your team. I think y'all's weaknesses, and this talks a little bit against mine too, I think politicians have been in charge of education for a very long time, right? And I think a big reason that they get it wrong is because of their ambition. What they are focused on a lot of times is the numbers for getting reelected, for keeping their party happy and their constituents happy. So they have other things to focus on besides just the well-being of those people who would be being educated. And I think CEOs cover the same problem where they're used to having to worry about profit margins and a board of directors and other things like that. We need people who actually want to help people. Education needs to be profitable, but it shouldn't be for profit. That's not the goal of educating people. It's to make them more intelligent. So I think my team has that goal in mind, and they care about that over the profit, and I don't think we could say that about either other team.
That is true. That is 100%. Before I state my case, I want Brody to go ahead and pitch his case for his.
So I think with my team, I'm going to go back to Zuck for a second because I think with him at the Realm as CEO, this is going to be a data-based thing. And data is where real decisions are made, in my opinion. Being able to dig into that vast collection of data. I think the common theme on my team is just the resources are stronger than any other team. That data and the ability to use that to make decision-making and to be able to pivot and assess the system as it's being built and corrected, I think is the strongest asset on my team. And I think that Jeff Bezos has the kind of back end of like distribution and logistics that can actually make that a possibility digitally and physically. I think taking the marriage of those two, Zuck and Bezos, as kind of the basis of it, I think you've got an entire infrastructure there. And then I think Steve Wozniak, with the innovation that he's not as widely known for as Steve Jobs because he's just not as outspoken, but if you do dig into him and really figure it out, he's known for being kind of an under-the-table team player that is not going to shake up the team. He's going to be the nice, easy
he's the rock for sure,
rock and glue that holds the team together while also finding really interesting and cool ways to innovate. Mark Zuckerberg, obviously very well known for innovating, but I don't think his real strong suit is the innovation. He's very good at finding the right things to add to his system that other people have done well, which is a valuable asset. I think Steve Wozniak is going to be the internal innovator that keeps things innovating from the inside and bringing new things there. And I think Mark Cuban, just going back to it, he's going to be the negotiator that it comes in friendly but stern and knows how to get what the team wants in any case. He's got reps and reps and reps and reps under his belt more than anyone else on any team, I think, of just making good deals and knows how to make good deals that benefit the team.
Here's my, because I am the one that's going to be picking between y'all two. That's going to be my decision
you have a great
on everything.
Team.
No.
Well, no, he's saying
I'm saying like I'm the pick. Like I have to pick between y'all two.
Right.
Two,
Oh, I see what you're saying.
So I am being pulled analytically, emotionally. That's where I'm pulled. Is okay. Much more boring team.
Right.
Much more boring team. Safer team. Much more exciting team. Much higher ceiling.
That's what
where
I was going for. So I can't complain
my
about that.
scare is that this is also the reckless team.
Oh, for sure.
That is an extremely reckless team.
For sure.
And do we want to education? Do we want to risk something that's going to be so reckless? That's where
absolutely 100%. It's terrible already.
Yeah, it can only destroy a generation or two. That's all it could happen.
It's already destroyed a generation or two. It can't get terribly worse.
So, but I mean, this is a reforming thing, though.
Raise your hand if you understood taxes coming out of high school.
This you're absolutely it's terrible as it is already. That's where I'm being torn right now. Is do we play that game? Where I struggle with this is this team going to handle a budget? Because Elon Musk, he's great. He doesn't handle a budget too well.
Nope.
Mr. Beast definitely doesn't handle a budget too well. Barack Obama,
We ain't gonna talk about that one.
Yeah. We not, yeah. Like Barack Obama, okay, he's more legal stuff. Like he's not analytical as he is the most analytical of the group, and that isn't his best characteristic. So that's where when hard times happen, that's where I'm scared of. But I'm scared about yours strictly because there is no spark. Your biggest spark.
What's gonna make it
Jeff
different?
Bezos.
Come on.
Come on.
Come on.
My feelings on Jeff.
Your best spark is gonna be Mark Cuban, and Mark Cuban's great.
That's true.
He's also an older white guy. Like
It's true.
He's an old.
Are they all older white guys? In his
My
case?
team is.
Yeah.
Really?
It's a big knock.
It's a lot of, and I mean, most of mine are too. So,
I would say that when it comes to Jeff Bezos and Mark Zuckerberg has the ability of all that excess information, which I fully agree is going to be valuable. I think most of education is moving to online and digital anyway, and he has so much access to information of how people interact that way. I'd say Elon has just as much with Twitter, or near as much. Probably not as much as Mark, but
I would knock that. I think Mark, in like one day, gathered almost 1.5 or 2 days, gathered almost as much information as Elon has.
He's been
Twitter
working in it for a significantly longer period of time too.
Just released.
So I'm not saying it's
True.
equal, but I'm saying they're both massive.
Yeah.
I think Jeff Bezos' distribution is useless, relatively, especially someone who distributes through Audible. They don't make money on their physical books; they make money on their digital books. And that's everything that Amazon wants to do is move to digital products. They have a lock on the physical market.
except the whole education system is all about budgets.
It's about budgets. What do you say?
Yeah, the education system doesn't have any budgets. The amount of teachers that don't have budgets, like that, is a huge factor.
One of the most expensive parts of education currently, and I think one of the most outdated parts of it, is the fact that we're going and sitting in classrooms with physical books and learning. Digital learning, whether that be through, ebooks, whether that be through online classes, whether that be through Zoom, or whether that be at homework, is where it's going to be moving. If you want to expand the budget, take out the number of physical products it takes to run a school. And I think the group I have, if you consider Gary Vee, Elon Musk, and Mr. Beast, if you're talking about getting educational info to the public, that's squad.
I would say a big knock I have on your team is that Gary Vee and Mr. Beast together collectively they're both very good at gathering attention, but they don't necessarily, I mean, obviously they both run big companies, but they're not necessarily, their strong suit isn't building big infrastructures.
What would you say their strong suit is?
I would say their strong suits are gathering attention and just building an internal team, which is very important to building a great company. But I think you need someone with a wider reach, and Jeff Bezos is not a play for physical books. It's a play for the infrastructure that you get, and he's been able to put actual drivers doing work in the physical realm all over the place. The hiring data and like decision making on that front that you could take to the realm of teachers and just redesign it for that. He covers an entire nation and makes things run smoothly.
I get that. I definitely see that in the infrastructure he's built there. But I think you're missing one of the most important things if we're redesigning education. And this isn't the team that I would pick to launch a tequila brand or to build a podcast studio or something like that. This isn't the team I would pick for that. The number one thing that Gary Vee and Mr. Beast have, or the thing that both your teams are missing, which is people with any empathy, people who understand what it's like to be educated, to have struggle in the education system, a modern education system, and have been through it. There's, like you said, you have old white guys that haven't been to school when a computer even existed. And how are they going to design a new education system if they haven't even been to school while computers existed? So at least I have Mr. Beast there to speak on that. Gary, who actually struggled in school. Elon Musk, who is actively trying to build a new way of educating people to serve his own children. So for me, those people have skin in the game. They have a reason to not only make this profitable, but make this actually makes people more educated, more intelligent, and enjoy it more and absorb more. And I think that is the goal of what I'm trying to do. I don't care if the profit margins are relatively slim if we got all that done. So that's my team's goal.
I think we've had a fair debate.
Yeah, I'll
We
put
should
my
go
with
foot
the
on mark
picks. Devin, do you want to start with the picks?
there. Okay, yeah, I'll go first for sure. My pick is going to be... It's going to be Brody's team this time, honestly.
Man.
It's going to be Brody's team. It really is. And my biggest
I drafted
thing,
a more legitimate team this time. I had a lot of sleepers last
I
time.
really don't see, no matter what you do, a way where you combine Cuban, Zuckerberg, and Bezos and don't just get a crack of a project. Like whatever they're going to do, if they didn't reform education at all, if they didn't change the way we educate people at all, the level of efficiency it would gain, the level of affordability it would gain, the level of profit margin it would gain would be massive. So it would be better in a lot of ways that I maybe care about a little less. I mean, I care about all those things, but I care about the education reform the most. I think that's where their weakness is. Where I think, Andy, yours would have a better time with education reform, would do significantly better as far as a less risky venture. I think you're a little bit of a safer pick. I just think that the resources and the network of Brody's team really put him ahead. And one of your biggest picks, which is Steve Jobs' network, is relatively limited at this minute. So with that being said, he's a beast in what he did.
I want to repick someone different. That was the case.
I mean, we're picking network, right? I would say that Mark Zuckerberg might have a bigger network than Steve Jobs at this minute.
I mean, I will
Rest in peace,
say,
Steve Jobs. I'm so sorry. I didn't mean it. iPhone daddy.
In your defense, even when he was alive, people didn't like him, so it's not like he had a very big network anyways.
Right, Steve Wozniak, the absolute likable.
Like, so, dang, just hit me.
That was rough.
cheap shot over here.
I think you have plenty of resources yourself and Bill Gates. I think there's power in your team. I think your team does everything Brody's does extremely well, and his just does it a little bit better.
I can agree with that one.
So those are
What
my
is your team again, Andy? You've got Steve Jobs,
Bill Gates,
Brody.
Jocko, Patrick Bet David.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, looking at my team, I think I can definitely agree with that statement on everything. So my choice, it is a heart versus head decision. That is really the deciding factor.
Go with your heart, Andy.
Go with your head, Andy.
School's terrible. We all know it.
Both teams really stuck out to me because, for one, they were both better than my team at one specific thing. And I'm really trying to figure out which pick that I'm going to.
You want to go last? Let Brody go first?
Yes.
Maybe?
I'll go first.
Okay.
So I think that makes more sense since I have a pick already. Okay. So your team is Jocko, Bill Gates, Patrick Bet David, and Steve Jobs. You're Obama, Gary V, Elon Musk, and Mr. Beast. Andy's team is so grounded.
Very grounded.
I think things would be done in such a beneficial way. The thing that worries me is whether they would have the kind of impact that Devin's team, I think, would be capable of, resource-wise mostly. Mr. Beast, with the attention he's able to get. Obama, same thing, having been a president. The resources of Elon Musk. I agree with what someone said earlier about Devin. I think Andy said it about Devin's team being a little bit more of a reckless option.
On purpose. Burn it down.
Andy's team is very grounded.
I want to burn down the education system and build it again.
So I'm struggling with this too because I think you've got a safer option on Andy's side and you've got a less safe but possibly more appealing option on Devin's side. I think Elon, Barack Obama, Mr. Beast, and Gary V. I think the one thing that is going to sway it for me is that the education system is broken right now, and I think it needs a new perspective. And the thing that you have both sides of is someone who's been through it at the highest levels in Obama, and two people who have been in the lowest side of it with Mr. Beast and Gary Vee, who have seen the failures of it and still found massive success. And Mr. Beast was a Harvard professor, whether that was a gimmick or not. I mean, I think there was real principle to that. I think I'm going to have to go with Devin just because I think that covering both sides of that spectrum and the resources, it might crash and burn, but I think it's going to get a totally new perspective that
I want to see what it looks like.
Yeah.
You're sending your
All
kid to
right.
my school. Between the two of them.
So it falls down to me.
It does.
Okay.
It's a tough
So-
one.
See, this is where all that trash talking comes back to bite me.
As as we went through everything, I had to think about, okay, what does the school system, if we were going to completely reinvent the school system to where they basically said, okay, here is this blank check, we need to make the school system better, redo everything. I feel like going with Devin's team, you're going to have Elon Musk, Gary Vaynerchuk, and Mr. Beast, and Barack Obama. And this is the reason.
The goats.
Huh?
No.
The goats. My pick, who I'm going to pick for this team, who will be winning the challenge, I'm going to have to go with Brody's team.
No! No!
I was not
Here's the
expecting
reason.
that.
They want all white men to educate you guys. That's the lesson here.
Here's the reason. Here's the reason. All right. Here's my reason, and I want everybody to listen up, because I love Devin's team so much more. I love Devin's team so much more.
Me too.
But here is the scary part. Is they give y'all a blank check. It says, $1 trillion.
I love this plan.
$1 trillion to go spend it.
Huh.
You have 3 individuals that are all going to be going in 3 different directions, and poor Barack is going to be like holding onto a leash of 3 like mastiffs, just taking off in different directions. The organizational structure I cannot see happening. It would be it would be great. There would be so many great things. I cannot see it getting organized enough for it to broaden across the entire country. I can see it doing amazing things, but I can also see schools end up with nothing. There's no school supplies. Oh, someone forgot, to put desk. The entire budget was spent, but nobody factored in desk. That's where everything lies. And this team is so much more boring. They are just much sadder of a group overall, I will say.
Much sadder.
But here's the thing is you have
Sad but effective.
Mark Cuban. He is currently revolutionizing the pharmaceutical industry. And that is right up there with the educational
It's the
system.
kind of thinking you need.
All right. You have Jeff Bezos, to where you want to talk logistics. He has logistics. You want to talk Steve Wozniak. He has the technical side. All right.
Such a boring team.
Such a boring team. And then you have Mark Zuckerberg, who has all the data. He has every data. You have if you think about a football team, he has 3 of the best wide receivers in the National Football League, but that's it.
Andy,
there's
I'm so
nobody to block.
disappointed in
There's
your
no
pick.
one to throw him the ball.
Andy, I'm so disappointed in you.
I know. I'm so disappointed in myself.
Listen, if this video gets views, comment down below.
I am I'm so disappointed in myself.
Too. We'll
I'm so disappointed in myself because I want to pick that team so
I just want to
badly.
let y'all know, everyone watching right now, if you locked me, Andy, and Brody in a room, and you had a choice between Elon Musk and Barack Obama educating you with Mr. Beast, or Mark Zuckerberg, the alien from Mars who actually never got an American education.
Do you know what you sound like? You sound like the babysitter that was just like, here's all the candy, just don't tell your parents. That's the exact type to where it's like, this sounds awesome.
Let's do all the great things.
Until it doesn't, and everybody has stomach aches and regrets that decision.
You know what, Andy? This is the conversation. This is the conversation that politicians have sitting there in their offices. One guy's there and he's like, guys, why don't we just do all the things and fix all the things? And everyone's like, you can't just have your cake and eat it too, Larry. And he's like, but you just could. Like, why not just do it? We could have all the things. And then we just don't have all the things. And now we have the same education system broken for 40 years.
I think that on the technical side, in a perfect world, if my team could cover the technical and the logistics and recruit Devin's team
exactly.
to bring the vision
You're just going to
together.
be a 1099 contractor, and we're just going to outsource the creative side to you.
So mine's going to do everything anyway for any success. And with y'all's leading it and making final decisions, we'll still be learning the Dewey Decimal System in 6th grade. I am not happy. In court of public opinion, I think I won.
I'm going to get so much hate for this, and I hate myself for making this pick. I hate myself so much for making this pick.
The only person under 50, the only African American pick.
Those people. I love these people so much more than those people.
I feel like the dark side won out today.
Like
my network had Michelle Obama in it, and we were redoing education.
Poor Barack. Think about him. He's just gonna be just trying to you're gonna have it's gonna look like a cartoon.
Do you know what Barack Obama's? Do you know what his slogan was?
Forward.
Well, yes, but it was forward, rebuild, reform, redo, or something like that. Point is, dude wants to raise the ground and build again with my other 3 boys, Elon, Gary V, Mr. Beast, and Barack Obama sit in that room and they look at each other and they go, we're here. It's time. Okay, where's that blank check? Pull out that blank check. Let's see it. And the best online education system that has ever existed that keeps kids watching for hours and hours and hours comes out. Everyone's learning. Everyone's passing tests. No one's using ChatGPT because Elon Musk has a brain. And we don't learn the Dewey Decimal System in 6th grade.
See, but here
I think everyone should be using
the
ChatGPT.
issue.
What's the powerhouse of the cell, Andy?
It's the mitochondria.
That's right, it's the mitochondria. How many times you use that, Andy?
None. Okay, but here's the thing. It sounds so amazing. It sounds awesome, but here's the thing. They reform the system. It is going to improve dramatically. There is a 100% chance. It is a 100% success rate.
Absolutely, I agree.
For yours, it's like a 60-40 coin flip of does it get massively better or does it completely just crash and burn, and for the next 10 years it literally is catastrophic.
You're considering the wrong metric, Andy. The metric is not whether it succeeds a bunch or it doesn't succeed a bunch. The metric is change. His team has about a 20% chance of changing anything, where mine has a 100% chance of changing something. We just do not know which way. And I am willing to roll dice on the success for the guaranteed chance of change, because every time we do it the other way and we're like, okay, well, this person's very conservative and guaranteed to do a decent job. I mean, they may not do our change. We never get it.
I would argue my team has a 100% chance of changing it, maybe 15 to 30%.
You hear
I
this?
think your team has a 60% chance of changing it 100%.
Take your bets.
I think it's
take your bets.
That's what I'm kind of explaining, what Andy was saying.
I get that.
I think
I can
it's
understand
guaranteed that my team will make an effective change, and it won't be something that's too drastic and dangerous.
I'm so excited to hear Zuckerberg's announcement that all of classes are now going to be held on Facebook Live. It's going to be great.
If you would have
they'll
just
be held
changed,
in the metaverse.
Yeah, they're going to be held on Threads now.
If you would have just changed Gary Vaynerchuk or Mr. Beast out with somebody that has more of an analytical mind, I would have picked it in a heartbeat. The issue is you have two extreme wild cards in your picks to reinvent the educational system.
My team is not analytical enough, and I made my CEO Elon Musk.
How many times did Elon Musk almost go bankrupt because he couldn't understand the budget systems for his company because he was willing to keep risking it and risking it and risking it?
Oh, learning how to work when your company is absolutely above budget. That's perfect for the education system. They're not giving you enough money no matter what. You don't have to, it's not like, oh, well, Mark Cuban's going to get in there and really wag his finger at the politicians and make the budget bigger. That's not going to happen. The budget sucks no matter what. So we're having to figure out how to work with $100,000 that they give us because the rest went to wherever else they send it to. So we're getting the budget. I don't know. Look at what 2023's budget was. They're working within that amount of money. They can debate for more or whatever else. And if you are debating for more, maybe we need someone who's debated with politicians before. I don't know, like a previous sitting president whose wife was specifically geared to improving educational environments with her lunch and health program. I don't know, maybe that's a good pick.
I will say that I think your Barack Obama pick was the best.
That was a
of all 12 picks.
I was so excited for that pick, honestly.
I stand on my pick. I stand on my pick.
Andy was mad at my shit talking.
Should we do honorable mentions?
There's no
Honorable mentions, me for that
I
team.
have one really big honorable mention that I can't believe we left out, and it's Alex Hormozy. I mean,
I thought about it. He just isn't proven enough. He's not proven enough just yet. Like,
I think that he has this ability to educate, though, like the actual educating itself, that like the perspective that he takes on it is effective and works. And I think if you could bottle that, I think if he could figure out how to bottle that and distribute it the right way.
Now, that's someone that you subcontract into it. But Alex Hormozy also released a video saying, I don't think people should read as many books while selling a book in the top line of his Instagram bio. So I don't like him for education, in my personal opinion. I'm actually against
His point wasn't don't read as many books. It was like have a few that you go back to and like kind of reference.
I hard disagree on that point. That's because I believe that enjoying education leads to continued education. I believe that when I think of books that I've read, like Jab, Jab, Right Hook by Gary Vee or 12 Rules for Life by Jordan Peterson or things like that nature, books that I've continued to read, not books that I've gone back to, but books that I've read, in my recent half decade instead of like a long time ago, the people that I find in my life that are most successful have also read those books. Have you guys read those books?
I haven't read Jab, Jab, Right Hook, actually.
You haven't?
I need to.
I saw that at your dad's house one time.
Yeah, I have it. I have a different book by him.
A different Gary Vee book.
I forget. I think it was a later one.
Well, but point being,
Crushing It. Is
Crushing It.
Yeah.
That's a great book. What I'm saying is that when people continue to read and get higher educated, I find that they're not only better in a business and a life sense, but they're also better rounded, more healthy, everything of that nature. I think making education enjoyable will keep people educating themselves and growing their knowledge base into their adulthood. I think that's one of the biggest reasons I want it reformed is I want it to be enjoyable enough. I love reading. I love books. I love education. I love study. I think it's fun and enjoyable. If you guys knew me in high school, which you both did, that wasn't the case. I just didn't. It didn't click with me. It didn't click with the way my brain works, and maybe that's where my perspective comes from. But because of that, I think it needs to be reformed into something that makes the act of knowledge gaining enjoyable. We all continue to do athletics when we're adults in little ways, whether it's work out or run or play tennis or whatever it is, because when you're growing up, those are some of the most fun things you get to do. So when you're moving into adult, not only are they great for you, of course, but they're also something you enjoy and that makes your life better. Education is not put that same emphasis on of enjoyment of, and that's, I think, a big reason why I picked my team was I think those people will make it something that is loved instead of despised in the age group it's targeting.
We need to end this podcast right now before I change my pick. End the podcast,
He's
Brody.
good at arguing for it. All right, well, that is going to be the end of our podcast today. I think it was a tough choice. I mean, I think we ended up with 3 really well-rounded teams that could do a great job impacting the educational system. But we're going to go ahead and cut it there. That's a podcast.